Greetings, friends. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. There's always a link from different parts of the world, united with our shared purpose, serving common good through our meditative work. Today, in the last day of distribution of the Scorpio festival impulse, we meet to meditate together, inquiring the spiritual hierarchy, asking for their guidance and direction, for us to recognize the aspects of the unfolding plan. In this Scorpio cycle, which belongs to the signs of the fixed cross, we hold in our focus the theme of manifestation of the principle of sharing in all fields of human endeavors. Through our preliminary conversation and the preparatory meeting, we together collected our impressions on most resonant recognitions and ideas of this time. And the topic that was chosen or synthesized from our sharing is the circulation of life through the ethers. With an act of will, we color it with joy and love. So let us begin our work.
Greetings. Our purpose is to magnetize the ideas of common good, freedom, and brotherhood as the highest values of humanity at this time. We recognize and cherish diversity of perspectives in our group, creating a space capable of invoking, receiving, interpreting, and radiating a higher synthetic vision. We serve as an Asramic outpost, building a group bridge of Buddhic energy. We evoke the soul of humanity. We envision humanity as being the seed that is flowering. We prepare the way for the reappearance of the coming one. Over to you, Tracy.
Thank you, Brigitte, and thank you everyone for being here today. As we usually do, we begin our full moon group meeting and meditation by sharing the seed thoughts that were gathered from the first quarter moon meeting of this cycle from Libra to Scorpio. And from these seed thoughts is how the topic is created every cycle. So our topic sharing is the circulation of life through the ethers. With an act of will, we color it with joy and love. And that came from our seed thoughts. And we had a total of 8 seed thoughts that I'm going to read now. Number 1, sharing soul energy and sharing the ether network. Number 2, the human instinct to share is connected with our will to be. Number 3. When young children are given the choice of saying no to sharing their personal items, which empowers them, they usually don't like the consequences of playing by themselves most of the time. Then, by choice, they open themselves to others. Number 4. Sharing is the joy of exchange with another. Number 5. The constant circulation of life forces through the ether bodies of all forms. Through the etheric bodies of all forms. It's a basis of all manifested life and the expression of essential non-separativeness of life. Number 6. Aloha. The energy of love, of being, returning to the source. Also sharing the karmic load. That's the potency of change. Number 7. We share one life. We share one love. We need to learn to share one light, expressed in multiple ways, including our resources. And finally, number 8. Sharing on the inner planes results in an outer expression of sharing. And those are the seed thoughts that created our topic. And now Katya will be leading us today in our meditation in this Libra to Scorpio cycle on the fixed cross. Over to you, Katya.
Hello. I'm privileged to be at this point of Scorpio in Japan. It is ruled, the Tokyo center is ruled by Scorpio. And the energy here is very strong. And very different. So it is a great shared experience. So let us get united with energies of light and love and will to good. Let us hear the silence of the group. Let us blend our light with the light of the new group. and with the light of humanity. Let us align with a greater humanity. The one now in manifestation, and the part which is out of incarnation at the moment. And let us focus on the common good of humanity and our planet at this time. Our intention is to be of service, assisting human and planetary life. So from the group heart, we align and connect with the hierarchy and all the unseen beings and souls who aid our invocative and evocative efforts. We lead our minds and group mind into quiet receptivity to hierarchical energies, ideas, and impressions. And we serve as a bridge, as a conduit for hierarchical energies to be received and grounded. As we work across this full moon in Scorpio into the new moon in Sagittarius, we become receptive and aware of the energies available that will assist us with our work. We're working with the energy of will. So much needed as humanity is treading the path of discipleship. the great beings that we call Mars and Mercury are ruling this sign, with Pluto being as an overruling presence and distribution of the first ray energy to disciples of the world. This is a sign of cleansing, the preparation for an initiation. Nine times we return during our lifetime of the soul into this cleansing waters. And we work with purifying personality on 3 planes until the moment when, in the meeting of the dweller and the soul prevails. Hence the keynote, warrior I am. And from the battle I emerge triumphant. I, the soul. Fourth ray, the sixth ray. The first ray is coming through this flow of energy. So in this atmosphere, let us now connect with the topic for our month. Sharing is the circulation of life through the ethers. With an act of will, we color it with joy and love. So let us ponder. How do we develop harmony of shared life while recognizing and appreciating our differences?
Are we ready?
We're continuing to meditate the next question. How Scorpio can teach us to go from suffering to joy. And what can help us to come through Scorpio? Purificatory tests. And how do we know that we passed it? No matter how the impressions from our contemplation to take form. In silence, withdrawing our impressions together. And visualize them flowing into the group heart. Feeling our chalice and vitalizing it with radiant light. Together we direct this light upward to the hierarchy. And await their blessings upon it. Now realizing our invocation today. We witness its radiance pouring downward from our chalice into the lower planes, stimulating all receptive hearts and minds. And grounding our work in the energies we have invoked today. Let us sound the great invocation. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the mind of man. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. From the center, where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center, which we call the human race, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Oh. Oh. Oh.
Thank you, Katya. Thank you, everyone. As we now come out of the meditation, I think we're going to open the chat now for everyone so that we can share some impressions that we've received. Also remember that we have the website where the community impressions board is, and you are welcome to share on there also throughout the next couple weeks until we get to the new moon, of course, and then we'll review everything that we've received between the first quarter moon and the new moon. So I'd like to go ahead now and just open up the sharing for us. So please feel free to unmute yourself and share, and maybe give just a few moments in between so then till the next person can share. Thank you.
My apologies, Katya. As you can tell, I was over enthusiastic by our subject this time, and by the words you used to express our main idea. Sharing is the circulation of life through the ethers with an act of will. We color it with joy and love, and it started a whole cascade of thoughts in my mind over time. Starting with last week when I think it was Martha who said something about young children, and I tried to put some things in chat because my microphone wasn't working, but I think it probably sounds horrific to say, don't make children share. It seems anti-intuitive that you wouldn't do that with young children, but what I was trying to express is the difference between making and allowing them to want to share. And it can make quite a difference. It's the difference between the Piscean age and the Aquarian age, where we sacrifice as mystics in Pisces, which was appropriate at the time. We sacrifice as mystics because we just know it's the right thing to do, but we don't quite know why, but our emotions get all involved. And we just do that. And in the Aquarian age, I think we're being asked to understand who we are and what our abilities are, and to realize who we are in many levels. And then choose to sacrifice. By an act of the will, we sacrifice. I think that's the essential difference I was trying to describe. With young children, like say 2, 3, 4, 5, they're almost, the soul hasn't taken over the body yet, we're taught, not till they're about 7. So it's almost like we're working with little nature spirits. And there are developmentally appropriate things at each age. And at 2.5, what happens is children, when they want something, grab it. And if you try to stop them, they hit you. So what do we do with that? Do we say to them, you're bad. I'm putting you in the corner. I'm separating myself from you. Or do we grab them and hold them and say, you really wanted that toy. You're really angry that I'm not going to let you have it now. But I'm not going to let you do that. And then just love them and stop them from doing the wrong thing, but love them the whole time and hold them close. It makes quite a difference. I think it leads to the difference between, as adults, between feeling guilty about this or projecting onto others what we think we should be and then judging them. Or are we going to say, everybody has their own way, and we should love everyone, but we don't have to like what they do. We don't have to like the choices they make. And that's how it is with young children. If we can show them that we love them, but that they've made a choice that's not okay, and that there are certain basic rules that humanity shares in groups, like not harming one another, in order to get our way. I think that's essential. And so much of who we are is shaped in the first few years of our lives. I think that's the main thing I wanted to say. I'll probably think of more later. But there are ways to teach children, like by modeling and by reflecting their emotions. You're really angry. You're really mad because you can have that toy. But here's some other things you can do instead right now. I can't let you hurt someone. I can't let you take that by force. But here's some things that you can do. You can draw a picture of how angry you are. We can write a letter. I'll help you write a letter that says how much you really want that toy. Um, and we can model how we want them to behave. And it's amazing how even 2-year-olds change their behavior into appropriate modes just by that sort of activity. And teachers who are willing to share this sort of thing with them. It's really amazing. There's a book that is written. There are a couple books written by a student who went to one of these schools where this was the way it was handled. A woman named Heather Shoemaker. It's Okay Not to Share, it's called. And I'm sure there are other schools that do this, but this is just the one I know about. And this is a book that was written about their way of raising competent and compassionate kids. It's called, they say, Renegade Rules for Raising Competent and Compassionate Kids. So I just wanted to share that. It's something that I did with my life and that I'm real enthused about. Okay, that's me for now. Thanks.
Thanks, Lynn, for sharing that. What came to me when you were saying that, being in the medical profession, and you learn about the development of the fetus when they're within the womb. And they go through every stage of development of our evolution, first with the gills and then, then the lungs and the different development during the fetal stage until finally you have the fully developed human before it's born. No different with the psychology of the brain of the infant to child. There's stages, obviously. And, we've been so ingrained with that will to survive and to have spiritual staying power here on this solid plane, which is what we were meant to do, bring spirit into matter and actually be able to maintain that spirit on the material plane. And now we're past that nadir and we're on that evolutionary arc where we're going back up as opposed to trying to stay down in this solid material plane. And when you talked about the children, it reminded me of horses. I know humanity is different than horses, but we all have that instinct, and that's why I thought of the horses. For years in the Piscean age, nobody had time. You had to hurry up and do stuff. They used the horses to plow the fields or whatever. And so they, quote unquote, broke the horses, took their spirit from them and made them just work. Now they're saying that there's no, you don't break a horse anymore. It's called gentling a horse. But we have the time now. And I think the difference too is we've developed enough of us in mass have developed enough. And we also, with all the computers and machinery and everything, we don't have to do that physical day-to-day labor just to survive anymore. So we do have that time to be patient with each other. And so I wanted to thank you for that, because I think when we put it all into perspective, what you were trying to say, it's more than just teaching a child how to be humane and human. We have the time now. We need to learn the patience And we also need to respect that part of the development, as you were saying, they're 2 years old. They have to learn what's mine and what's yours. I mean, that's part of that human experience. But now with the age of Aquarius, it's quote unquote knowing why they can't have that. Why do you need to share? And I think the kids coming in now are responding more to that. It's not just disciplining them anymore. They want to know why. So, okay, thank you.
The system also develops independence of thought when you're recognized for who you are. And you make choices. You start practicing making choices at 2 and 3, and which aids evolution. It aids our spiritual evolution to be able to do that sort of thing. Thanks, Tracy. Making choices and living with the consequences, I should say. When you're little and you don't share, you eventually end up with no one to play with.
Coming up with the questions, I realize that it's not very easy to put the to bring them in somewhat theoretical form, because Scorpio energies are all about practicing. It's almost like the period of learning is behind us. And now we are testing what we learned. So when I think of Scorpio, it is something that cleanses us of everything that is not essential. Invoking this power of letting go, if we are invoking the power of letting go, we align with those energies. If we hold on to things and processes and qualities, then test comes again and again and again until we let go. Like, what's the difference between letting go and sharing? I would say that sharing prepares us for this moment of release. First, the small step, sharing with someone close to us. Slowly realizing that sometimes sharing it's just into the world. When we release the principle or some knowledge of how to, goes to someone who needs it at the moment. The question about harmony initially came as a realization that we harmonize. We have two ways of harmonizing: through mandatory harmony imposed on us, or through something within that allows inner harmony to respond to that offer or suggest. And like right now we are in the culture which is very different from the West. And whatever we are ready to share or becomes an imposition, and vice versa. So it's a very interesting experience of how you share in a way that is not imposing on on the other party. Where's this measure? And the measure is in this deep connection with the essence of what we are dealing with, or the person, or the process. And the energies of Scorpio are there to aid with that. It might sound, very vague and generic, but if we are invoking those energies at the moments when we are insufficient in our efforts, I do believe that aid would be given. It will come as a form. The main thing is to recognize that aid as such, and not as another test or imposition. Over. Thank you.
I will pick up from Katya. If Scorpio is in the triangle of the fourth ray. So together with Taurus and Sagittarius, these three signs constitute the triangle of the fourth ray, transmitting to our planet this energy of harmony through conflict. And we know that it's the foundational energy on which humanity functions. So it's our mode of evolution. And Kaita mentioned that we are now in Japan, and the race of Japan is the sixth ray of personality and the fourth ray of harmony.
Of the soul.
Of the soul. The soul ray of harmony. And here the principle of harmony is on the level of the national ideology, I would say. Of course, not official ideology, but it's principle that rules social behavior. It's as a main factor that determines how you position yourself in the society, and not just in society, in relations to nature, in relations to spirits, the divine world. So it's constant search of harmony. So it's a very interesting experience to observe it. That my first impression was that it's the closest that I've seen to right human relations, a principle of harmlessness, self-forgetfulness, and right speech are defining the fabric of society. And then came recognition of the difference of between the West and the East, difference in perception of the value of freedom and the value of common good. in our Western societies, individual has the most value. Here in the East, society has the most value, and what is good for all is good for one. The thing is that in a way those are two kind of, it's on the different sides of the spectrum, and the truth, or in this case the word truth is probably not the most appropriate, but the harmony is in the middle, because the common good cannot be imposed, which in some cultures it's happening. In some countries like China, it's common good is the ideology that is imposed and controlled, tightly controlled by government. The same was in Soviet Union, and it's cannot be done through imposition, because it limits the freedom. It's through the inner recognition, what Katya was saying, through free recognition, coming to the realization of the common good, and coming into this state of self-forgetfulness. That's where we actually evolve individually and as society. And another aspect of this, it's about how do I've heard this story, this kind of this myth or legend or tale, that humanity was formed by different alien civilizations. And so the seeds from different civilizations being brought into our planet Earth, and as an experiment, how the diversity can create a new great harmony. And so we learn here on this planet, with all our diversity, to come to harmony. Over.
Yeah, I was to harmony took me another way, but diversity, of course, is vitally important. But what I was thinking is listening. And so we have to listen to anything that is diverse of what we might know, and letting go of any disturbance or anything we hold too tightly, frankly. And by trying to do above, we need, so the Scorpio, we need the willpower and the determination to do something that may not be that comfortable. And then what can help us come through? I mean, Scorpio, okay, purification, that's great, battling hard. And what Alexander said, the self-forgetfulness, right speech. And actually, sorry, I forgot the third. I know we should all know these, but
Harmlessness.
harmlessness. Oh, right. Yeah. Thank you. Well, that's it. I had an image of a little girl who had, she was maybe 8, and she had come through a battle
Her hair was short and standing up, and her dress with puff sleeves and above the knee, and her socks and her shoes were covered in dirt, as were her arms and her legs and her face. And she had in her face the woes of the world, that like she had seen everything. And she was walking with long, slow, steady paces, carrying her sword, sort of dragging from the bottom of her hand. And she was walking back, having seen it all. And it was sort of that you have to let go of everything to realize what there is. And she was coming back, having fought the battle. She was coming back triumphant insofar as that she was wanting to do something along those lines: harmlessness, right speech, and self-forgetfulness. Thanks.
I think the soul is often pictured as a child in various places. There's an invocation that it seems like people don't use so much, but I know it's from the Blue Books. It's love to all beings, compassion to all beings, joy to all beings, and peace to all beings. And I stumbled upon it once, and there was a little explanation with it. And the explanation was that by peace, we don't mean that the nations are all living in harmony. By peace, we mean inner peace, where people recognize who they are, what their tools are at various levels. They really recognize, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, who they are, and are able then to um, choose to work together and utilize what gifts they have. They're able to hopefully listen to one another. I'm adding this now, but through that would be able to, as people are saying, listen to what someone else says, hear what their gift is, um, without judgment, and hear what their concerns are, maybe, um, and work together to create a better world. Oh. Okay. Also, I think, Katya, I agree with you that there is something, you said something about we sacrifice part of ourselves. I think it was you. When we truly listen to someone else, we're actually, in a sense, opening ourselves up in a way that maybe if we're truly listening, maybe when we're finished, we have to, if we've really taken in what that person says, we have to recreate ourselves. We aren't the same again. Um, so maybe human life is kind of a constant recreation of a sense of self and a sense of the world and the universe.
The image I just had is the pruning back the tree in the fall so the new life can come more abundantly. But we prune the trees to to the essence, to something that can actually and will be able to produce that life. Because if you cut too much, it's gonna take a long time. If you cut too little, it just it will not survive the winter, or it will not be able to just become this radiant bloom. But and that was another question that didn't make into the cut. But like, how do we know what's enough? Because I believe this is very important part of all those questions, the measure. Because I believe that Scorpio teaches us the understanding, the practical understanding of what is enough.
I can't help but think the the sharing and Scorpio and the tests, trials and tests of humanity, not just individuals, but humanity as a whole. And you all were talking about Japan, and people are very polite there, and people share, and it's a different culture, obviously. And it just got me to thinking when you were saying that, what came to me was fourth root race, the Sino-Japanese and the fourth root race, fifth root race with Anglo-Saxon, and the difference going from um, the group sharing kind of thing back in the fourth root race type era, that time period. You had to share in order to survive. Um, as you're coming more into the fifth root race, like I said, life changed quite a bit on this planet, labor-wise for humanity. The laboring and the so sharing didn't become it became more personal sharing, personal with the self sharing, I think. Um, but see what I was trying to say. I think that we're seeing the evolutionary process going from sharing with the fourth root race and those times coming into the fifth root race, and sharing became more personal, like what's mine is this and yours is that, and it became a little bit different. And now we're on that evolutionary arc where we're going back to taking the sharing that was taught or that we learned in the fourth root race, combining it with the self-sharing of ourselves, being the selfish, but coming out of that now to being selfless. But it's more of an Aquarian um, for humanity as a whole, recognition. So it's on a higher level of sharing. I don't know how else to put it, but I think that's these trials and tests with humanity are constantly going on. Scorpio and intervening, but we're the fourth root race, art and harmony, as Alexander said, through conflict. Um, but yeah, I'm almost seeing like this progression from that type of sharing from fourth root race up into the fifth root race, and end of the fifth root race into the sixth root race, which is Aquarian sharing, selflessness, not because we have to survive anymore, but because that's who we are. So thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. Very true. Let us hold that note and continue reflecting on these questions and our topic. Sharing is the circulation of life through the ethers, an act of will. We color it with joy and love. So we're coming now to the closing of our time together during this meeting. But let us hold this group focus till the next meeting, which we will communicate additionally, and till the new moon. So now I want to invite if anyone would like to offer a mantra to close our work today.
I'll do it, I guess. I am one with my group brothers, and all that I have is theirs. May the love which is in my soul pour forth to them. May the strength which is in my life aid them. May the thoughts which my soul creates reach and encourage them. Om. Thank you, everyone.